configuration, a new render layer. So you create this render layer. So let's say room. I want to have some. I just put a ly. It's just to know that it's a layer, because if it don't, it's not very happy to have the same name. So okay, so it's my layer room. Okay, so in my layer room, I have nothing else. I have nothing for now. Okay, so I right click and have a collection. So my collection would be my CL for collection, my CL room. That would be my collection. And after that, I can have my collection. So I can take all my group room or all the inner group. For this case, I'm just gonna take my room. Okay. You can do that. You can just take the room and have had. Okay. And now you have this. Or you can type room star, and it will take all the name begins with the room. Okay, so you see when you click with the eye, when you click on the eye, it switch on the render layer. So if you delete this, you have nothing in there. And if you select the room star, you have the room. Okay, so very simple. So the name room, I can even have grp to be sure that the name I want, or you can just add physically this group. Okay. It's quite the same. Okay. Okay, so I get my room in this layer now. Okay, so that's quite nice because it's what I want. Okay, but the problem is if I do that, I have no interaction with the character. So if the character is reflecting something in the room, or if the character is do something in the room, you're not gonna see it, just because it's not there. It's a new scene. Can you remember? So it's a new scene, and you have only the room. So you cannot see any interaction with the character. So what you can do, it's you can create a new collection. So right click, create a new collection. So my collection is CL car. Okay. And inside this, I have my car group. Add. Okay. So now I get my character in my room. So it's exactly the same as the scene, in fact. Okay. So what I want, I want the effect of my character, but I don't want to see it in my render. Okay, so I just want that the character, maybe you can reflect it, or maybe the color of the character is bouncing, etc. But I don't want to see on front of the in my image, because I just want to see the room. Okay. So to do that, I need to tell to this collection that all the collection it's a primary visibility off. You can't see the visibility, but you see the effect of this. Okay, so to do that, you have something called drag attribute from attribute editor. It's you can drag some attribute like primary visibility, or you can do another way. You take an object. Okay, you don't care what kind of object, just take an object, okay? And you go in the attribute editor and we want to play with the primary visibility, okay? So, but we don't want to play with the primary visibility only with the head. We just want the attributes primary visibility. That means that it's not his attribute, but it's the full attribute, okay? The attribute itself, primary visibility, okay? Not the primary visibility of the head, okay? So if you want to have the primary visibility absolute, okay, you right click and you can have a create absolute override for visible layer. So that it means that it takes the absolute primary visibility for the whole layer. So I click, it passes in orange. You see that there is this attribute, and I can just untick off this attribute, okay? So let's see if it's going nicely. Okay, that is my layer. I have to change and go back in diffuse, inner beauty. Okay, so now you can see there is my my new frame without the character, and the character it's in there. So the effect of the character it's in there, but you can see the character. It's what you can do with render layer. I see that the door, there is something wrong with the door. I think the white panel, or maybe it's the white panel, or maybe it's the, I think, okay, I'm going back to the scene, the main scene, and I want to check because there was, yeah, this white panel is not in the group, okay? So I need that to be in the group. Okay, now it's gonna work. Yes, okay. It was just this panel. It was outside of the group. Okay, so as you can see now, I got my scene right, and I switch to my room, and that's it. I get exactly what I want. The room only, but the effect of the character, we don't see very much the effect, but you can just trust me, the effect of the character is there, and but we can see the character. Maybe to confirm that it works, what we can do is have my glass of the clock, my clock glass, get back again on the scene. I just need to export. So maybe I'm trying to open a new Maya to export my glass. Okay. The empty file. Okay, so this object export in OBJ, because OBJ it's a very simple format. Okay, clock glass. Import clock glass with merge. Oh. Ah, yeah. It's just because I'm on the render layer. I need to switch render layer. I need to switch back to the scene. Yeah. Okay, so now I've got my clock glass. So I need to put my clock glass in my clock. It was this name, so I kick this object. I take my clock and I do that. Check the smooth if it's okay. So I think it was my full group inside. So smooth of the room. Do I have the clock? I get the lamp, I get the radio, I get the clock base, hanger, desk. No. So I need to put my clock glass in my smooth. Okay, so now I've got it all. Okay, I need to have the shader. So the shader should be in the clock. Needle, plate. Obviously, it's the last one. This one. Yeah, the selection is good. Assign. Let's see. Okay, so now we can see it works. Okay. I haven't seen that. I have a white panel. I have to check that. Maybe it's the light. Okay, maybe it's the light. We have to see that. But what I want to show you, it's when you are looking in the room layer, okay, and when you play the render, you're gonna see in the clock. This is my this is my character. So you see that this is my character who is reflecting in the clock. So the character is not there, but I can see it in the clock. So it's mean that it works. Okay. Okay. So I just have to check why I get this white panel. I think it's this. Maybe I can, in the visibility, I can say, maybe I can say no specular. I'm not sure, but maybe it's this one. I want to scope. Yes, it was this one. Okay, so that's nice. Now I can do the opposite. So I can have my character, but keep my set to have the bounce, okay, and to have all the shadows on it, etc., etc. So I can do exactly the same. So I create a layer for the character, right click, a new collection. So as the first one, I can have a collection. If I do a collection for the room, it just say, oh, hey, you have the same name. Okay. If I do that, if I do that, yeah, it will have a one because you say, this name it's already exists. So you can say, okay, I don't care. There is a number, but it's okay. I like to avoid this number on the name itself. I prefer that on the CL. So I get the CL1 room. So it's not the same name. Okay, so for the room, I'm going to take the group. Okay, and create a new collection. It's CL1, and it's the character. And for this one, it's the character group. Okay, so this now, it's exactly the same as the main scene. Okay, so now I have to tell that the room is, I can see it, but I want the effect of it. So to do that, I just want to select an object, okay, and primary visibility, right click, create absolute override for visible layer. Okay, now it's orange. So it's in my character. Oh no, I've done a mistake. I haven't selected the good one. Yeah. Okay. I'll redo again. So I have to select the good. I have to go in my character layer and do that. So it's absolute override. Yes. And you override the scene. So, oh, no, I want to do it inside, actually. Yeah, so, okay, so I have to say to my room, so I select my collection room and right click, absolute, yes. Like this is stay in the room, okay? You have this small arrow says it is inside, okay? So now I can take this off and I can render. I can render my frame again. Yeah, but it's the render of my frame, but I have all the things happens. So the lights, the shadows, the color bounce, etc., etc. So it means that when you get this, you can in compositing up the first one, the second one, and it will match. What you need to know about that, it's that you have this, it's okay, but you have the AOVs for all the render layer. So for this layer, I get the AOVs. Okay, so all my AOVs for this layer, it's great. So if I just count, I get my ZPass, I get my Cryptomatte, I get my diffuse, I need my diffuse. I get machine, I need machine. I get my specular, I need it. My SSS, I need it. My transmission, I need it. Okay, so that's nice for this render layer. Okay. If I take my room render layer and I play it. Okay, so ZPass, I need it. Crypto, yes. Diffuse, yes. Sheen, I don't need any sheen. Okay, so I have to find a way to avoid this calculation because I don't need it. Specular, yes. SSS, yes, because there is the lamp. Transmission, okay. And that's it. So I don't need the sheen, okay? So to avoid the calculation of the sheen for this special render layer, you have to be in this render layer. So that's the case. Okay, render. You have to open the render settings. Okay, you can see that in the render you have the render layer all on top. Okay, so you choose. So it's my room. Okay. So in my room, I don't need the sheen. So I just have to right click before and say create absolute override for the visible layer and untick. Okay. So you don't want to untick and create a render an override. You want to override and untick. Okay. You can easily know and see if it works. You just have to render again. And you should see no sheen at all, okay? So if you change the character, you see the sheen, okay? So it's why, it's how you can manage your AOVs by render layers, okay? Okay. Okay, so we have 30 minutes left. So if you have some questions, if you have some, if you want some questions, some explanation, or just ask some question. I can try to answer. If you don't have that, I can show you another thing about shading or something like that. But I'll let you just 2 minutes just to ask me a question if you have to, and if you don't have, it's not a problem. I will show you another thing, and so on. So just think if you have just some question to ask me. In the meantime, I'm trying to find my new topics. The Arnold render view is the same frame is result. The Arnold render view is the same frame is result. I'm not sure of the question, but if I understand well, you ask the same, the Arnold render view as the same frame as. Okay. Do you mean that if the Arnold result this image, if this image it's exactly the same as the original? No, because we haven't finished. It's your question. We haven't finished because we have to tweak many things to finish this: the colors, the texture, the lighting, etc., etc. We have done a first pass on everything just because we have only 3 days, and I need to show you the much I can show you, but it's not finished. Obviously, we need to have a second pass on it, and second pass on the shading, and second pass on the render, etc., etc. Is that your question? But we have all to do that. No, I mean in window of no, I mean in window of Arnold render view, it's final. Just save it. I mean in window of Arnold render, it's final. It's final. I'm not sure to understand. I'm sorry. The final image in the render view, okay, so this one, no, yeah, so this one, not this one, where is that? Ah, okay. Thank you. Okay. I understand your question now. Okay. So it's clear. Okay. Sometimes it's not clear, but okay. I understand now. Okay. No. Yeah. If you want to have your final image with all the AOV paths, with all the render layers, etc., you need to have a batch render. Okay. You need to batch it. Okay. Batch render, it's the process to render all the frames as it's configured. So first of all, if you want to have this frame, you need to configure this. So we have done this once, okay? But you need to say, okay, I've got only one frame, so I don't need any number. It's a single frame. It's my size. The rest it's already configured, and the AOVs it's configured, and it's okay. When you have done that, so I save it. Okay, when you have done that, you have to go in the render menu, render, and batch render. Okay, it's what you have to do. Okay, so batch it. Yes, and now it's gone to the render. So if you can see, is going to save, is going to save a temporary file first. So he saved the temporary file, okay? And after that, he just began the rendering, okay? And now you can close Maya because he has all the information he needs. Okay, so you can close Maya. It's not a problem. I don't want to close it just because I want to show what it's gonna write in this panel, but you can close Maya. It will continue the render because the processing is different from the Maya processing. And you can see that. You can see that in the detail. You have in this panel of Windows, you have the Maya and you have the Maya batch. Maya batch is not the same. Maya batch is the batch render and Maya is the software, okay? So now it's gone. You have the percentage, you have 22%. I want to just close this one. Okay, and now you see it's going to render, but it's going to render many images because you have one for the character, one for the room with all the passes. But what about render current frame? What's difference? There is no difference, but the render current frame. You in the render current frame, you mean the Arnold Arnold render view, or because there is nothing's called render current frame. Maybe render current frame. Ah, this one. I've never used this one, so I don't know what this difference. I know the render sequence. So the render sequence, it's another tool to launch sequence of image, but you will not have any AOVs, etc., etc. So it's not nice to use, okay? But this one, I haven't used render current frame. I don't know what is it. I'm not sure it's the same. Let's see. Okay, you see, he had finished for the layer room, okay, only, okay? And now he's going to launch the character layer. So you have many render layers, so he launched many renders. And in each frame, you have the AOVs, okay? So we can show, you can see that masterclass dev int image. Okay, so you have the layer room, master layer. He haven't finished. He haven't finished yet, so we have to wait. So for your question, the render current frame, I don't know that, okay? So maybe it's the same, but I get a doubt of that. I'm not sure of that, so maybe it's the same, I don't know. We can try. So in making a video, there are exactly those exported layers on these. So in making of video, there are exactly those exported layers from these. And to make such video, we render sprightly, diffuse, specular, etc. Image and beauty from final result. Okay, but what is your question? So in making of, what is your, are you talking about your making of, or I don't know, what do you mean about making of? So in making of, okay, I don't know what is your making of. Video, there are exactly those exported layers to make. Making of video. Okay, so to make a making of video, it's what you mean? There are, okay, so to create a making of video, okay. So to create a making of video, there are exactly those exported layers from AOVs. And to make such video, we render separately diffuse. Okay. Okay, it's a question. Okay, so the question is that if you want to create a making of video, you just say, okay, do we have to do it separately with the diffuse, specular, transmission, etc. To making of video and compositing, etc., etc. No, I don't. It depends what you want to do. Okay. In fact, when we do a separation like this, splitting like this, it's a bit complicated after that to put it all together to have the final image and to tweak. It's only if you want to go to the tweaking process and if you want to go to the compositing process. If you don't know as well, if you don't know the compositing process, it's better to don't use that, just because you will not know how to use it. Okay, so I recommend to you, if you don't know the compositing, just to do your 3D like this, do the image, and maybe you can just have an ID pass like the Cryptomatte or something like this if you want just to have some mate, so alphas. Okay, maybe in Photoshop. Okay, and you can, with the Cryptomatte, with this type of extra texture, extra image, you can select, have a mask, and modify the color correct just a bit in Photoshop. It's what you can do. It's the very simplest way to compose it. Okay, but if you go for that type of splitting image, you have to know the whole process of compositing. We haven't seen that the compositing system, because after that you have to merge all the passes together with all the diffuse first. After, you have to put the spec in multiply, etc., etc. So if you don't know that, you can try, because there is many videos on that, but it's complicated. Okay. Okay. So you need to know that it's a complicated way to achieve. So, and the purpose of all of that, it's to tweaking better. So if you are okay with your image, you don't need to do that. Okay. It's a process we use in production. Because in production we have directors that say, it's more blue, I want that more blue, or I want that more red, and etc., etc. So we need to do that. But if you are with your own, maybe you are satisfied with your image, you don't need to do that. Okay. Okay, so that's it. The render batch, it's working like this. He's doing some directories with the image in it. So you have the image in it. You need to know that with Arnold, you need to have the license if you want to do a batch render. If you want to do a batch render, you need your license of Arnold. Arnold, it's you have to pay for it, or the school have to pay for it, because what you can do only with Arnold, it's play with the interface in Maya, that's okay. But if you want to get the image out, you need to have the license of Arnold, okay? Every time you want to have a sequence, you need to have the license. So we can try to use the render current frame because I haven't seen that. Ah, no, okay, I know. No, we don't want that. We don't want that. Just because when you do that, what it's do, it's taking the whole feature, the render view. It's a Maya render view, and you don't want to use the Maya render view. Maya render view is this window with the eye in the clap. Okay, you don't want to use this clap because it's not nice. Okay, the nice one is the open Arnold window with all the features. Okay, with all the passes, all the features. Okay, and in fact, when you use the render current frame, is just to open a Maya window. Okay, but you don't want to use it. So, okay, it answer. Okay, it answer your question. Yeah, yeah. And I think IP render current frame is exactly the same. It just send your frame in IPR. So we don't care about this. But what you need maybe, if you haven't the license of Arnold and you want to render a frame, you can use the render sequence. The render sequence, you can choose the camera. You can have all render layers. You can have alternate output file location. No. Add to render view. No. You can just say, okay, you want all the render layers, but I'm not sure you have the AOVs. But let's try to do that. Okay, I'm going to erase all of that. And render sequence. There is only one frame. Ah, you see, he used the render, the Maya render, so it's not good. I think it's not gonna work. Maybe it's working, but I'm quite sure that you're not gonna have any AOVs. Okay, Alexander, you have Maya license will have normal batch render. No, if you have the license, you know, you will know it, because when you try to have a batch, it will precise that you have it, because you have no watermarks. So it's very simple. If you have the license, you know that just because you pay it, and you know you have the license. So okay. It's very simple. If you have the watermarks, you know that the license is not good. Even you have Maya, Maya, not official Maya, because maybe some of you have not official Maya. Even in that case, Arnold, it's not. You cannot have Arnold license. You have to pay for it. Maya is different because we know that there is some version we can have without paying. We know that that's possible. I know that. But even in that case, you have to pay for Arnold. Okay, because Arnold, I think you cannot have any license if you not pay. No, it's not a problem of Studium version. Maya is Arnold is provided with Maya with the ability to have render like this, okay? But you cannot batch. It's always the case for years, okay? So if you don't pay, you cannot have batch without watermarks. You need to have license. So yeah, it's doing some render views. Let's see if it works. It's not finished. I just want to wait to see if he finished the job. Marmoset. It's a very cool feature because I know this feature, this software, in fact. Okay, we're gonna try. Oh no, okay, I'm gonna let it continue. Yeah, I have to push that away like this. Okay, so Marmoset, it's a very cool software, and you have many features in it, and it's very nice. So you can use it. It's very yeah, it's very nice. But what you have to know is it's not a software that we use in production. So if you want to work on a production, so on a worldwide production, like I don't know, movie production or animation production, that kind of thing, you need to know an engine like Arnold or V-Ray or Redshift or Renderman. You need to know that because Marmoset, it's more like a gadget tool, okay? But it's not very useful in the production. But it's very nice. It's like there is another one like this. I like it's with the ZBrush you can go to another render thing called Keyshot. Yeah, exactly, Keyshot. It's exactly the same. Keyshot it's a very easy tool to have some render, and it's nice because it's so easy. You just drag and drop shaders, and it's very handy. But never, or none of the production I know use that in production. So it's nice for you. Maybe you can have some images just to have fun, but for the work you have to work on a render. You can say, okay, I know this render, okay, because that's the purpose of your study. I think maybe you want to study that to work one day in a production, so you need to know the tools that the production used, okay? So Arnold, Maya, and so on. There's many of the tools you can use. But there is many render engine. The engine very known. It's Arnold. After that, you have V-Ray. You have Redshift. Redshift. In that moment, it's a good tool. And Renderman. in United States, but in Europe we don't use much Renderman. But in USA they use a lot of that. Yeah, that's it. After that, yeah. In 2020, Maya is easy to plug Substance. Yes, but it was the case just a few versions earlier. In fact, the problem it's not the link in between the two soft. Okay, it's to know how to plug, how to know how to plug in the shader. Because as I say in my masterclass, when you want to use reflection, you have two possibilities to use it. You can play with the metalness and you can play with the specular. Okay, so if you are playing with Substance, you may want to play with the metalness because Substance is it's getting out some metalness texture. Okay, so it's just a question. It's more about how to play, how to connect, and which texture you're going to connect to how. But the workflow is exactly the same. Substance have both workflow. Yeah, you can predefine a workflow for Substance. In Substance, you have, when you export, or no, when you create a project, you can say, I want a BRDS, BRDF style, or I want to be in BRDS or PBR. Yeah. Okay. You have PBR or BRDS. Okay. So PBR, it's when you want to use the metalness and so on. And BRDS, it's when you want to use old school things like specula, etc., etc. So you can have the both workflow. Yes. I haven't the time to show you more. But okay, thank you. Okay, thank you guys. It was nice to show you all of that. I have many things to show you, but we have just the time to do that. So okay, I hope you can see some video I can do. And okay, thank you guys. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. What I use for? Yeah, it's the last word. I haven't heard the last word. Ah, okay. Yeah, okay. Because you understand that when you use the 32 bits, it's always the raw, and when you use the 8 bits, it's always the sRGB. That means that when you are 16 bits, it depends of the image. In fact, if you are in Photoshop in 16 bits and you do only colors, okay, you can stay in sRGB, okay. But if its Substance export 16 bits from this software, you have to use the raw, okay, because inside Substance, the engine of Substance can give you non-color space, so non-sRGB color space, but a raw color space. But you, when you are just playing with a texture in Photoshop in 16-bit, you can do that. You cannot do that. So you have to get this to sRGB. So 16-bit depends on what kind of image. If it's an image come from a software pack like Substance, you have to put that in RAW, okay? If it's coming from you and Photoshop, you have to put that in sRGB. It depends. Okay. Thank you, guys. I'm very happy to have done this. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, Nina.
Salut.
Salut.
Hello. Sorry to interrupt you. I think I'm happy that I had time to. Sorry, I couldn't join earlier because we had other meetings. But yes, go on, Damien. Sorry.
No, it's not a problem. We have just finished just right now, so
Okay.
so it's okay. It was useful. I'm just reading some commentaries, and it was useful. So I'm happy with that.
So was it okay? It wasn't very hard for the students to follow, but
See,
everything
I
is
think
on the.
yes, I think it was a bit hard to follow, but some of the students just follow. I catch some 3 or 4 guys, but I know that's a very difficult things to very difficult job to. But okay, if someone have just a bit of that, it's already good. Okay.
Yes, of course, yes. And anyway, now we have no other solution, so
Yeah,
everything's going online now. So
and you know that in France, till this night,
yes.
we are closed. We are stay at home, so we need
Yes.
to stay at home. So it's
Yes.
complicated.
Once again, yes. Yes.
Le confinement.
Voilà.
So yeah, that's finished.
Best greetings for Paris and France. We love you.
I understand that.
Merci.
Thank you. I hope we can have a new meeting next year. Yeah. Okay,
I
so
was going to say yes, also that yes, hopefully next year it will be possible to do everything offline. So hopefully, if yeah, the masterclass will take this time and
yeah, it's okay. It's okay for me. Yeah. Yeah, I know, I know. That's okay.
Goodbye.
Okay, now, thanks everyone who posed for the group photo.
Okay, thank you
Good
all.
memories of that. Damien, thanks a lot.
Okay,
You're the
thank
greatest
you.
teacher we've ever heard.
Okay, bye bye. Thank you.
Bye
Bye bye.
now. Thank you, everyone.